Alright, I know you guys hate the title. Some of you guys are big game jam lovers, but I'll be honest, I think it's the truth. If you look at many great indie game developers, they don't do game jams. There are some exceptions, like Hollow Knight used to be Hungry Knight, but once he finished that game jam, he just was heads down and kept working on that game. Many indie game developers stick to the game that they're making for years, and they don't exactly do a bunch of game jams while they're working on that project. If you are having issues finishing anything, then sure, do some game jams. It'll teach you to finish stuff. That's good. It can be fun, you can socialize. If you actually enjoy it, then go for it. Keep doing game jams. But making a commercial game is so much more different than making game jams. If you're working on a commercial game, participating in game jams is kind of a time waster because you could spend that weekend working on your game. So there is one argument for game jams though. If you are a more mechanically driven game designer, then it's a good way to prototype and get feedback. That's not bad. If you don't have any ideas for your next game, game jam is a good way to start letting you, spew out random stuff so you can start getting an idea for your next game. So there are some pros to game jams. But I believe there is something we can do even better. So here are my 4 steps to become an amazing game developer. All right, step 1, be super engrossed in a genre. Pick your favorite genre and play everything in it, the good and the bad. I think game designers are too focused on playing their favorite games and just looking at that. No, you should be playing on everything. Stephen King says to be a good writer, you have to read a lot. Well, to be a good game designer, you have to play a lot. I'll use myself as an example here. I love SRPGs. I play a shit ton of SRPGs. Many SRPG that a lot of people don't even know about. Even if I didn't play one, I most likely watched reviews or watched playthroughs of it, so I know a lot about the genre. I analyze the genre very often. And then once I've learned all of that, I start making my own style, like what type of style do I want in this genre that I think people will enjoy? If you only play the top games of your genre, then your work is going to look more derivative. Learn the pros and cons of your genre and how you would fix the cons. A good game designer have strange taste. They play a lot of games in that genre. They're going to know a lot of things most people don't know about it. Imagine giving a presentation at a convention. You should be the most knowledgeable person of your genre. If one of your fans in the audience know more about the genre than you, then you got some catching up to do. You're probably going to have to talk to them and learn about what is that game so you can learn more about it. That's part of being a good game designer. So instead of spending the weekend making a game jam, why not just play a bunch of games in your genre and learn from it instead? Step 2, play different genres so you could be more of a T-shaped person. So the long end of the T is your main genre. SRPG would be my example. The smaller part of the T are other genres. Me personally, I like farming sims, Souls-like, and JRPGs. I like a lot of different other genres too, but those are like the main genres I like. Information from these genres helps create this T that is shaped inside of me. This is what being a T-shaped person is. A T-shaped person is a specialist with some general information. As a game designer, you should be aiming for this. If you want to be a professional, then you need to know a lot about the game industry and different types of games. Alright, now that you're a very informed gamer, then it's time to actually start making the game. Step 3, a strong vision and what is necessary to make it. Now is actually time to make your game. You're an avid game player, but let's just say your game design skill is still lacking. Well, you played so many good and bad games of the genre, you actually know what a good and bad game look like. Remember to stay inspired by the smaller games that you've played. You've played so many of them, and some of your favorite games are going to be like on the AAA side, they're super big and all that stuff, but try to remember the small games that you really like. Because you are a beginner, you need to remember some of the small things that you love and make your own spin on it. Have a game idea you really want to make and stick with it. You gotta finish that game too. It don't matter if you don't want to work on it some days. There will be other days where you can't wait to work on it, so stick with it. So you keep making level designs and new combat mechanics and all that stuff. You have a very wide array of references that you've gathered as a gamer, and this will aid you when you're making your game. All right, my final step, step 4. This is where the magic is happening. This is actually the most important step. You're gonna have to playtest your game a lot. A fuck ton, a lot. You played almost every single game in your genre. You know exactly what a good and a bad game is in that genre. You're gonna have to keep playing your game every single day until you start seeing all the minor stuff that you can improve and just keep improving on it. You gotta keep playing your game. I think a lot of game developers actually don't play test their game enough. You should know your game in and out. You should know your genre in and out. You should know what makes it good. You should know some of the bad stuff that's in the genre. You should know how to fix it. That's part of being a game designer. It's time to be your worst critic and be honest with yourself. You've played so many of them. Know what is bad, know what is unique, know what's different. You gotta know a lot of things about the game. As you play more games in that genre, you're also gonna know what other people think about the genre. You're gonna know some of the things that people don't like. You're gonna know some of the things that people do like. And guess what? You're gonna learn that the more video games you play, right? That's part of being a game designer. And you don't have to be super negative with yourself when you're playing your own game, all right? You're going to be doing so many minor fixes and stuff like that. Don't take it personally. Your game design skill is not quite the same level as your taste in game just yet, but you're going to keep improving on it. So don't be harsh on yourself. Don't take it personally. Learn to be a critic of your own game. Learn how to improve on it and just keep going from there. Keep play testing your game, keep improving on it, and you're going to be a great game designer eventually. Remember that you are still new. It takes a lot of practice to be good. If you play so many different games in a genre, you're going to know the first game of your favorite director. A lot of your favorite director's first game is probably not that good. There are some exceptions, of course. But if you're going to compare Final Fantasy VII, remember that Sakaguchi's first game is Final Fantasy 1, right? Remember that everybody eventually becomes better the more they keep practicing their craft. Don't compare your game as the very best of the best. Learn some of the goods of the future games, of course, but remember that a lot of these first-time game developers, they're still working on their craft. So remember to be inspired by the small games too. Doesn't that just sound more useful than making a crappy game over the weekend? Why not just spend the weekend building good taste and then making your game? I know this is controversial. Some people love game jams, and there are some pros to it, but I just think there could be better things we could be doing with our time. If you love it, keep at it. Keep doing your game jams. That's fine. Me personally, I actually don't really enjoy game jams. I'd rather spend my weekend immersing myself in the genre and building my game design references. I hope this helped you guys out. Remember to keep improving your skill set. No matter what you do in the end, I'm sure you'll just keep improving upon it. But this is what I believe and what I have to do to improve, and hopefully it helps you guys out. Hey, if you guys want to support the channel, make sure to wishlist Grey Heritage Noble Duty. It's part of the Grey Heritage series that I've made in SRPG Studio. If you guys want to play a released game, I also have Grey Heritage Faded Vision. Make sure to check those out. Links is in the description.